Welcome to our channel. It's the Stoic era, where you find interesting and useful knowledge from the Stoic philosophers to lead a happy and good life. Today, let's explore a powerful and often overlooked concept: the profound effect your disappearance can have on someone, especially in relationships where you may have been taken for granted. I'm not talking about pulling away gradually or just becoming distant. I mean truly vanishing. No texts, no calls, no contact. Have you ever wondered what would really happen if you simply disappeared from someone's life? In our modern world, it's common for people to assume they can take others for granted. But when you disappear, their world can start to unravel. It's an unsettling experience for many, and today we'll dive into the emotional journey someone will go through when you remove yourself from their life entirely. As Stoics, we understand the power of not allowing others to treat us as mere options. In relationships, your worth should never be up for negotiation. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away and never look back. So, what will they feel when you're gone? We'll break it down into 9 intense emotional stages they'll go through. By the end of this video, you'll understand why sometimes the best way to make someone realize your value is to simply let them face the void you've left behind. Let's get started. And remember, by the end of this, you'll understand why disappearing isn't about punishment. It's about teaching others to value you for who you truly are. If you're ready to stop being an option and reclaim your worth, drop a comment below saying, "I'm done being an option." Stay tuned until the very end, because there's a bonus 10th emotional stage they'll feel. One you definitely don't want to miss. Number 1. The sting of rejection. The sting of rejection is a lesson they never saw coming. In their mind, you were always going to be there. The one who put in the effort, the one who cared, the one who made things work. You were their safety net, a constant they assumed would never waver. But when you disappear, when you remove yourself entirely from their life, the impact is profound. It's like a storm hitting without warning, a realization that shakes their very foundation. You never know what you have until it's gone. And now, they know. The absence isn't just physical. It's the withdrawal of everything you embodied: your validation, your presence, your reliability. And for the first time, they feel a loss that cuts deep, because it's not just about you leaving. It's about them losing control. People take for granted what they believe is permanent. They grow comfortable, complacent, and careless when they assume you'll always be an option. When you vanish, you shatter that illusion. Suddenly, they're left grasping at empty air, questioning everything. How did I let this happen? How did I lose control? It's a harsh wake-up call, a brutal lesson in Stoic happiness, understanding that no one is entitled to your presence, and respect should never be begged for. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that is exactly what you demonstrate when you walk away, without explanation. When you disappear, you force them to confront the void you leave behind. And that void is painful, not just because you're gone, but because it forces them to face the truth. They never truly valued you until they had to live without you. The irony is, they might have thought they were doing you a favor by keeping you around, by offering you crumbs of attention. But in reality, you were the one holding everything together. Your absence exposes the imbalance, making it clear that you were never the weak one. Rather, they were the ones dependent on you. The key to making them feel the sting of rejection isn't in threats, ultimatums, or pleas for their attention. That only gives them the illusion of power. Instead, you simply leave, without warning, without explanation, without looking back. In doing so, you send a message stronger than words ever could. You refuse to be disrespected. You refuse to be an afterthought. And most importantly, you refuse to be controlled. This isn't about bitterness. It's about reclaiming your dignity, about mastering the Stoic life lessons that teach us the value of walking away from anything that no longer serves us. Seneca put it best: associate only with those who improve you. If you are surrounded by those who hinder your growth, leave. So, when you disappear, let them feel the full weight of your absence. Let them wrestle with their choices. Let them realize that they had something valuable, and they let it slip away. The moment you stop seeking validation from those who never truly appreciated you is the moment you free yourself. That is the essence of Stoic happiness: choosing peace over chaos, dignity over desperation, and self-respect over settling. Now, I ask you, have you ever had to walk away to teach someone your worth? Share your experience in the comments. Let's talk about it. Remember, when you walk away, don't look back. They will feel the rejection, and trust me, it's going to hit them in ways they never expected. Number 2. The void of missing you. Here's where it gets truly fascinating. After the initial sting of rejection fades, an unexpected emotion takes its place: emptiness. The one who thought they could simply walk away without a second thought now finds themselves staring into a void they never anticipated. They told themselves, if they leave, I'll just move on. They convinced themselves that your absence wouldn't matter, that life would continue seamlessly without you. But reality has a way of proving people wrong. When you actually disappear, truly vanish from their life, something shifts. And it's not just a passing feeling. It's a deep, gnawing emptiness that follows them everywhere, lingering like a shadow. They wake up, go through the motions of their daily routine, engage with others, and even try to distract themselves with work or hobbies. But something is missing. And then it hits them. You were the one who brought warmth, energy, and stability into their life. You weren't just another presence in the background. You were the unspoken force that added meaning to their existence. The way you listened, the way you made them feel understood, the way you brought a sense of calm or excitement. It all mattered far more than they realized. The irony is sharp. When they had you, they overlooked your worth. They thought you were replaceable. But once you're gone, they start feeling the void in ways they never expected. By walking away, you reclaim your power, and in doing so, you force them to confront the reality of what they lost. They might attempt to fill the void with someone new, hoping to replicate the connection they had with you. They might throw themselves into their work, chase fleeting distractions, or surround themselves with people who can momentarily take their mind off of you. But no matter what they do, that emptiness remains, a constant reminder of what they took for granted. The little things, the inside jokes, the unspoken understanding, the way you made them feel seen and valued. Those moments become memories they now crave. Yet those memories are all they have left. And here's where the real lesson of Stoicism today comes into play. True strength lies in your ability to detach, to let go without seeking validation or closure. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, said Seneca. And this is precisely the torment they now experience. The absence you leave behind grows more powerful the harder they try to erase it. Every failed attempt to check up on you, every blocked message, Every unanswered call only deepens the void. The more inaccessible you become, the more they feel the weight of their loss. This is why when you disappear, you must do it completely. No breadcrumbs, no lingering connections, no opportunities for them to casually peek into your life. Make it impossible for them to reach you, because the more they realize they can't, the greater the void becomes. This is not about revenge. It's about respect. Respecting yourself enough to remove yourself from a situation where you weren't valued. As Epictetus wisely put it, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. You are not here to beg for appreciation. You are here to live fully, with or without them. Let them sit in that emptiness. Let them wrestle with the weight of your absence. And most importantly, let them learn the hard truth that people never truly appreciate what they have until it's gone. Number 3. Overwhelming curiosity. When you choose to simply disappear, you leave them in a storm of emotions they can't control. And one of the most powerful emotions that hits them is overwhelming curiosity. They are now lost in the void of uncertainty, searching for answers they can't find. Where are they? What are they doing? Who are they with? These questions begin to consume them. They find themselves spiraling into an obsession, unable to break free from the pull of their own curiosity. Your absence becomes a mystery that haunts them, and that mystery is the most unsettling thing of all. The Stoic mindset teaches us that uncertainty is part of life. But this can be hard to remember. When you're at the mercy of your emotions, they begin to feel a deep discomfort from not knowing, a feeling that intensifies in our modern, digitally connected world. Their curiosity doesn't just stay in their mind, it spills over into action. In the age of social media, this feeling grows exponentially. They'll scour every corner of your online presence, checking your Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and any other platform they can find, desperately hoping for just one glimpse of your life. But the true power lies in the fact that you've made yourself unreachable. You've gone dark. There are no updates, no stories, no posts. You've left them to wonder, and that, my friend, is a form of power that few understand. This situation can leave them grasping at straws, creating their own narratives and jumping to conclusions. And here's the truth. They'll be haunted by this curiosity until it consumes them. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. You, my friend, are in control. You hold the power, and their curiosity only amplifies your strength. In today's world, where everyone is constantly bombarded with instant updates, information, and connectivity, you stand out when you take a step back. Your silence becomes your weapon. You are the prize, and you will not beg anyone for attention. A king never begs a queen to stay. He holds his ground and knows his worth. And when you disappear, you don't just vanish. You assert your dominance over your own life. Your life is your own to control, and your absence only reaffirms this truth. This is not a move of weakness, but one of undeniable strength. You've already won by simply choosing to live on your terms. By withdrawing, you let them know that you are not easily accessible, that you are not at their beck and call. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, the ability to remain calm, unaffected, and unbothered in the face of external distractions. When you disappear, it forces them to confront their own emotions, their own insecurities, and their own weaknesses. They start to question their worth because you are no longer there to validate them. But understand this: you are not their emotional support. You do not exist to be a source of comfort for anyone. You are the master of your own life. So take this lesson to heart, gentlemen. Embrace your own power. You control your mind, and by controlling your mind, you control your destiny. Don't be afraid to disappear when necessary. Don't be afraid to retreat into silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. When you disappear, you don't just remove yourself from their lives. You elevate your own. Pain is temporary. Power is forever. Take charge and let them feel the weight of your absence. Comment below. I control my mind. I control my destiny. Embrace your own sovereignty. Number 4. Deep self-reflection. This is where things get difficult, especially for them. When you disappear, they are forced to confront their own actions, and it's not something they can run from. After days, even weeks, of wondering about you and trying to piece together the puzzle of your absence, they inevitably begin to turn inward. They start questioning themselves and their behavior, asking those tough, soul-searching questions that often stay hidden in the back of their minds. Was I too distant? Did I take them for granted? Did I ignore their needs? Was I too cold and uncaring? This marks the beginning of a process that, while painful, is essential for growth. The regret sets in slowly but surely, like a bitter pill that becomes harder to swallow the more time passes. It's human nature to avoid admitting mistakes, and people rarely like to be confronted with the reality of their own flaws, especially when they didn't expect to face them head on. When you disappear, you leave them no choice but to confront their mistakes directly. They can no longer brush things under the rug or blame external factors. There's no one there to smooth things over or offer reassurance. In that space of silence, the only person they have to reckon with is themselves. They replay every interaction in their minds. Those times they ignored your texts, those moments when they dismissed your feelings, the times they made you feel unimportant. And with each replay, the weight of their actions becomes heavier. Deep down, they realize that they had something valuable with you, something worth holding on to, but they took it for granted. The truth is hard to accept, and the guilt starts to build as the days go on. They wish they could rewind time and do things differently, but that's not possible. The regret becomes overwhelming because they are now fully aware that the demise of your connection was self-inflicted. At this point, they can no longer blame you or anyone else for the breakdown. They cannot rationalize their mistakes because there's no one left to argue with. The truth is staring them in the face, and the only person they can blame is themselves. It's an uncomfortable realization, but an important one. This internal reflection is incredibly powerful. As time goes by, their introspection only deepens. They begin to understand the magnitude of their mistakes. The guilt they carry begins to eat away at them, and they may start to question everything. What they could have done differently, how they could have treated you better, and whether they could have saved the relationship. But it's too late. What's done is done, and they're left with the consequences of their actions. They now understand that their behavior contributed to the unraveling of something that was once good, and this realization is a profound lesson in self-awareness. So, what should you do during this stage? The best thing you can do is nothing. Don't reach out to explain yourself. Don't feel the need to make them understand why you disappeared. Don't try to show them the error of their ways. Instead, allow them the space to figure things out on their own. The most powerful form of self-reflection occurs when it's done without interference. Give them the time they need to sit with their guilt and face the consequences of their actions. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. They need to fully internalize their mistakes and the role they played in the breakdown of the relationship. This is the painful, yet necessary process of growth. As the famous Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, their self-reflection, the very thing that causes them discomfort, becomes the very path to their self-improvement. The more time they spend reflecting, the more they will understand that their actions led to this point, and the greater the chance that they will learn from their mistakes. To make this content more relatable to your life, remember that this process isn't just limited to relationships, it's applicable to all areas of life. Whether it's a project at work, a friendship, or even personal goals, we often learn the hardest lessons from the moments when we fall short. It's through our failures that we discover our true strengths. Stoic happiness is not about avoiding mistakes, but rather learning to accept them, reflect on them, and grow stronger. Embrace these moments of silence and reflection, for they are the seeds of your growth and future happiness. So, take a step back, let them process their feelings, and trust that this painful process is ultimately a powerful lesson for them. You don't have to explain yourself, because in the end, their journey of self-reflection is the most important lesson they will ever receive. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Have you ever experienced a moment of deep self-reflection in your own life? How did it help you grow? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Number 5. The urge to pursue you. After enough time in solitude and self-reflection, a shift occurs within them. At first, they questioned themselves, wondering why you left, oscillating between denial and confusion. But now, something deeper emerges, the realization that they have lost something valuable. The tables have turned, and the one who once exerted all the effort, cared the most, and chased tirelessly, has now become the object of pursuit. This is the power of absence. They cannot stop thinking about you. The silence you left behind echoes in their mind, and suddenly, they begin to feel the weight of your absence. The urge to reach out becomes overwhelming. Their thoughts race with questions. What if it's too late? What if I never get another chance? Did I take them for granted? These thoughts lead to impulsive actions. They start sending those "I've been thinking about you" messages, subtly trying to gauge your reaction. They might go through old photos, liking posts you uploaded long ago, leaving breadcrumbs of their lingering desire. Some, unable to suppress the longing, may even send late-night texts after a few drinks, their inhibitions lowered, their pride momentarily set aside. They are now the ones hoping to rekindle what was lost. But here's the key. Their pursuit is not driven by a newfound appreciation for you. It is driven by the discomfort of losing something they once took for granted. And now, the question arises, what should you do? The answer is simple: nothing. Do not respond. Do not acknowledge their attempts. Silence is your strongest tool, and now is the moment to wield it. The instant you engage, you relinquish the power you have rightfully reclaimed. Remember how much effort you once poured into someone who never truly appreciated it. Now that they are the ones craving validation, the best course of action is to let them sit with that discomfort. As Epictetus wisely stated, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. In this case, your power lies in remaining unmoved, unshaken. Stoicism teaches us that true strength is found in discipline and emotional control. It is the art of detaching from what does not serve your peace. When someone returns after taking you for granted, their intentions may not be as pure as they appear. It is not love they feel. It is the discomfort of your absence, the sudden realization that they no longer have access to your energy. If they truly valued you, they would not have needed to lose you to see your worth. The best thing you can do in this situation is to stay firm in your resolve. Continue living your life. Do not allow nostalgia or momentary guilt to cloud your judgment. People rarely change overnight. If their absence did not bring them clarity before, your presence now will not fix them. Let them feel the frustration of wanting something they can no longer have. In this, you will find freedom. And in that freedom, you will discover the essence of Stoic happiness, the kind that comes from within, untouched by the fleeting desires of others. Number 6. The battle between relief and regret. When you disappear from someone's life, the first reaction they may feel is a fleeting sense of relief, a momentary burst of freedom. They might tell themselves, "Finally, I don't have to deal with them anymore." For a while, it might even feel good. But let me be clear. This freedom is nothing but an illusion. It may feel exciting at first, but it is as shallow and temporary as a mirage. They go out, mingle with friends, perhaps even try to replace you with someone new. In the midst of their distractions, they might convince themselves that everything is just fine. But the moment they are alone, sitting in the silence of their apartment, scrolling mindlessly through their phone, they will realize the void that exists in their life without you. And that's when the regret starts to seep in. They'll come to understand that the freedom they thought they'd gained is actually nothing more than emptiness. Those people they thought could replace you, just surface-level distractions that offer no depth. It's like drinking salt water when you're parched. At first, it feels like a solution, but soon enough, it leaves you thirstier than before. In today's world of instant gratification, people think they can easily replace emotional connections with casual encounters. But they're mistaken. You can't replace the peace and stability someone brings with a fleeting fling or a quick distraction. This realization will hit them like a ton of bricks. Now, what should you do? Let them feel this illusion of freedom. Do not rush back into their lives. Do not offer comfort or a solution to their regret. Allow them to sit in the emptiness they've created. The initial relief they felt will fade, and they'll be left with the haunting truth that your absence is far more significant than they ever imagined. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." By maintaining your Stoic mindset, you allow them to confront the reality of their actions, knowing that this space, this absence, will weigh on them far heavier than any presence ever could. Let them feel the power of your absence. They will remember it long after the initial illusion of freedom fades. Number 7. The desire to play the game. Once regret settles in, they panic. Now they want control of the situation, but they don't know how. So, what do? They start playing games. They act distant on purpose. They try to make you jealous. They post photos with other people to make it look like they're happy without you. Maybe they even post a cryptic status about moving on, or upload a selfie that's trying a little too hard. It's all just one big attempt to reel you back in, to make you wonder what they're up to. But here's the thing. You're not playing anymore. You've outgrown the games. You've moved beyond that childish behavior. And you don't even notice their petty attempts to provoke a reaction. People think that manipulation through jealousy or playing hard to get will make you chase after them. But what happens when you've stopped chasing? When you've grown tired of the game? They'll throw everything at you. Subtle digs, passive-aggressive comments, exaggerated posts on social media, but none of it works. Because you're not giving them the attention they crave. And that, my friend, drives them absolutely mad. What should you do? Don't engage. Ignore the cryptic posts. Don't react to the photos. Their game only works if you play. The moment you stop responding is the moment they realize they've lost their power over you. Number 8. The crushing weight of silence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use when you vanish. The absence of your words, your texts, your presence. It speaks louder than anything you could say, and it leaves them with nothing but their own thoughts. Now, things get tough for them. Because the silence is so heavy, so unbearable, they start to question everything. They start thinking back to all the times they ignored your calls, all the times they were too busy to reply to your texts, and now they would do anything to hear from you. Silence is torturous for someone who's used to having control. They expect you to reach out. They expect you to ask what's wrong. They expect you to beg for an explanation. But what happens when you don't? What happens when you disappear and they have to sit there, in the quiet, wondering if they've lost you for good? They can't understand it. Every minute without a word from you feels like a year, and the longer it goes, the more anxious they become. We live in a world of constant communication. Texts, calls, notifications, instant gratification. Everyone expects an immediate response. When you don't give them that, they spiral. They're used to the noise of a relationship, the back and forth, even the arguments. But silence is deafening. What should you do? Let your silence be your power. Don't break it. Don't explain yourself. Let them feel the weight of their own actions through the absence of your words. They'll soon realize that losing access to you is far worse than any argument you could have had. Number 9. The fear that brings them crawling back. When faced with a situation where someone you cared about chooses another, it's easy to feel like everything is falling apart. This moment of fear, however, is where the true power lies. The one who once believed they could take you for granted is now overcome with the terrifying thought of losing you forever. For a long time, they were comfortable, expecting that you would always be there, standing by them no matter what. But now, you've stepped away, and the fear of your absence hits them harder than anything they've ever felt. They can't help but think, what if they've truly moved on? What if someone else is making memories with them now? This fear consumes them, to the point where their ego and pride no longer matter. The thought of you laughing with someone else makes them sick, and they'll do anything to get you back. Reach out, apologize, beg for forgiveness, even show up at your door. But here's the Stoic principle you need to embrace. When they come back with fear in their eyes, don't let that fear be the reason you reconsider. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. By the time they feel this fear, you've already moved on. You've rediscovered your strength and independence. The modern Stoic knows that life doesn't wait for anyone, and true peace comes from the ability to let go. So, don't be swayed by their desperate plea for another chance. Let them face the consequences of their actions. You are no longer someone to be taken for granted, and your peace is far too valuable to sacrifice for fear-driven decisions. Stand firm in your choice, and as you walk forward, Remember that this is the moment you reclaim your power. Let us know in the comments how you've handled similar situations and what you've learned through them. Through the final lesson. There comes a moment when you must decide, will you continue being the man who waits, the man who begs, the man who tolerates disrespect? Or will you rise, walk away, and watch the world bend to your absence? The moment you withdraw your energy, the entire dynamic shifts. Suddenly, they notice. Suddenly, they regret. They took you for granted because you allowed it. But now, you hold the power. You are not an option. You are the prize. Epictetus once said, "How long will you wait before you demand the best for yourself?" This is your moment. You've already won the second you stop chasing and start commanding respect. Stoicism. Win isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them, controlling your destiny, and knowing when to walk away with your head high. Remember, a king never begs a queen to stay. When you vanish, they will feel the loss. They will understand that what they took for granted was irreplaceable. And by then, it will be too late. If you're ready to reclaim your throne, comment below. I'm done being an option. Power belongs to the man who knows his worth. You are that man. Now act like it. And that's it, my friend. When you simply disappear, people feel it, whether they admit it or not. But remember, your focus should always be on mastering yourself, not seeking reactions from others. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps more people discover these powerful Stoic insights, and it supports the channel in bringing you more content like this. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with these points? Have you experienced this yourself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss. Stay strong, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next one.